Hi everyone and welcome to the French Watch Collector. Today on the bench we have a very iconic watch, Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso. So in this video we are going to do a service on this beauty. Like I said, it's a very iconic watch, the Jaeger Reverso. I will explain a bit more about the history of this watch and actually why. You will see it has a very distinct function, and it's this one. You can see you can turn the watch around and have the case back pointing your direction if you want to protect the dial, and I will explain a bit more later why you have this function on this watch. And what we're gonna do now, we're gonna fully disassemble this watch just to make sure everything is good inside, to clean everything, and we are going to reassemble the watch, oiling it properly and giving it the proper service just to make sure it runs perfectly again. Okay, so on this watch, first it's a case. You see the case is very particular because you can switch it around. You have like two sides if you want. And already before tackling the movement on a watch, normally it's pretty straightforward. You just open the back cover. But on this one, you have a lot of stuff to do. You can see first there, I need to remove all these little screws just to remove like this two part there. There we go, that's the second one. And now I should be able to take the main case, if you want, of the watch. There we go. That's it. Like, that's a case back, which is actually you have two case back if you want on this watch. And now there is two screws there that I need to open. So you can see there's quite a lot of parts, actually, quite a lot of complexity on this watch, just to be able to switch over from one side to the other, which is pretty clever actually, and the way they've done it. And actually this design is, I will explain you like when the first one came out and why it came out, but it's like a long time ago. And this design is staying around for like decades, almost century. So yeah, that's like I said, that's a very iconic design and iconic watch. And actually it looks like it's like a dress watch, like most of the people now wear it as a dress watch, but actually it's a sports watch. When it first came out, it was a sports watch for a very particular sport, but it is a sport watch, and it was the marketing, if you want, or if you, like, I don't know at the time if they really have marketing, but like the purpose of this watch was to do some sport here. And look at the movement inside. I finally managed to arrive at the movement, and look how tiny it is compared to the case. It's so small. So we still have quite a few parts to disassemble to be able to get to the mechanism. But actually we can see there, and it's beautiful. Like, it's small, but it's very nice. You see with the Côte de Genève on top, and you see like the purple ruby, like, which is popping out on the movement. That's great. Okay, still have another set of 4 screws there. I should be able to remove the front of the case here. You can see it's sealed at the back, and it's sealed at the front. You see around, you have a sealer around there. So yeah, sealed both sides. And you can see as well this beautiful dial, like with a brush finish, like a gray brush finish, and this blue track around for the minute. Beautiful. Just remove the two hands there. There is no second hand, just a minute and hour hand. And if you have any question on the tools, just put some comments down below. And I put the description as well in a video of some of the tools that I use. So don't hesitate to go over there. And if you have any question or anything, just put it down in a comment, and I will be more happy to help you with some tools or stuff that I used in a video. Just removing the two seals there. You see we put new ones when we reassemble the watch. Just gonna release the winding stem there. It's a bit stuck there in a tube, but should come out, yeah. There we go. It's very, very long. And that's it. Now we can remove the spacer ring. I mean, it's not actually a ring on his watch because it's a rectangular watch, but it's like more spacer rectangular if you want. But yeah, and now I can release the dial. Just releasing the dial fit screw there. Beautiful dial, like I said. This brush finish, like two kind of finish on the dial. Just gonna save it in this box there. There we go. Just going to remove the balance first and look at the size. Even the balance looks huge on a movement. Like it's like almost half of the movement is taken by the balance and the other half is taken by the ratchet wheel there. It's crazy the size. So I use like older movement, like a small one, like for smaller movement. And even the screws, like the screw looks big on its movement, but it's actually because the screws are the same size as usual. But as the movement is so small, the screw looks much bigger on this movement. Okay, so I carry on the disassembly, removing all the parts. Oh, yeah, the screw has just jumped there. Going to remove the ratchet. Underneath, gonna see the barrel, the mainspring barrel. There we go. You see the mainspring barrel actually is taking half of the movement as well. And here we have the train of wheel bridge. I'm just going to remove. That's it. And we have all the wheel there. Cannot take the center wheel actually because I did not remove the cannon pinion on the other side, but we take it a bit later on. Just remove the rest of the wheel with the escape wheel there. There we go. Now we just move on a dial side, and I'm just going to remove the cannon pinion there with the presso tool, which is friction mounted there. Now the wheel, which was on the other side, you remember that I cannot remove the center wheel, now is off. And I can get focused on the keyless work, disassembling the keyless work. Up. Part did not go very far, just there. We have the yoke here with the spring. Minute wheel, and we have an intermediate wheel. Just releasing the screw there on the other side for the setting lever. Just taking out the screw there, and the setting lever, you see, just fall out. And that's it. We only have the cannon pinion. We have like a couple of parts with the clutch and the winding pinion. Just going to remove the jewel there, just to make sure to clean them separately. Oh, you see like the spring just come loose. I just put it back later on when we reassemble the watch. That's not an issue, but yeah, it's better if you can keep it on a watch. Just gonna peg the jewel there with a piece of wood just to make the oil a bit loose. And I'm gonna replace the balance on the movement just to make sure it stays nice and steady on the movement. Stuck there, but just make sure it's aligned. Just don't want to ruin the pivot, like the balance stuff from the wheel. So there we go. Now it's moving freely. I can secure it with the screw. Just going to remove the jewel as well. Same thing we done on the other side. Hopefully we're not gonna take off the spring this time. Yeah, looks okay. Just grabbing the jewel with a bit of Rodico. Just finishing cleaning the last few rubies. This on a train of wheel bridge there. The mainspring barrel, we're gonna take the mainspring out again to clean it, to make sure everything is clean. And we're gonna re-oil everything properly, but to remove the old oil and dirt that's inside, we take all the part off and put it in a machine a bit later on. Oh, the spring just jumped there. There we go. Okay, we're gonna put all the part in its little baskets. So that's for the jewels, and after we have bigger baskets for the rest of the parts. And all the parts we go into the cleaning machine. And you see on this movement, there is actually not a lot of parts. It's quite simple. It's not a complicated movement. And here we go. Now put it in a cleaning machine. So we have 3 stages, 1 cleaning and 2 rinsing, and the last one will be the drying. I would like to use this opportunity to thank my patron for supporting me and supporting my channel. You have a link in the description to go on my Patreon page and to support me. So thank you to Christian, David, Shelby, Jan, Christian, Corney, Alan, David, Ted, Tony, Michael, Stephen, John, Tim, and Gregory. Thank you so much for supporting me, guys. And if you want to go over there, like I said, you will find a link down in the video, and you can support my channel. It will help me tremendously to put better content. And thank you so much for supporting me in advance. As well, if you did not subscribe to the channel, I will encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I try to put content once a week. And again, if you like the video, click on a thumbs up. It will promote the video. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon, and you will get notification when I put new video online. Okay, so now I'm gonna clean the parts which are for the case. You can see like a lot of parts. So we'll put some in his baskets as well. And I will put all these parts into the ultrasonic machine, just to make sure, again, they get clean. Here we go. Now they are in an ultrasonic machine. Make all the dirt loose and come off like in an ultrasonic. And we'll have a case and parts will be much cleaner to put back together. Gonna do some epilene treatment on these parts. So the pallet fork, the escape, and the jewels, which are for the balance wheel. Just gonna treat them in epilene, and after we'll be ready to oil the jewels and remove the epilene first from the pivot point, like from the pivot from the balance and the escape wheel. There we go. Now I'm just gonna remove like the epilene from the pivot point. I already need epilene on this point, and here I'm putting a drop of oil, so starting to oil the movement. That's a joule for the balance, so putting a drop of 9010. And we are putting the chaton back on top there, with a nice jump to move it around. And I'm gonna do the same on a second one. You can see the size there compared to my finger of these jewels. They are very, very, very small. And putting the chaton again back on top. Okay, and so now these 2 jewels, we can put them back on the balance, putting back the spring. And we'll have the balance fully oiled and ready to go back on the movement at the end later on. Okay, so the Jaeger, the Reverso, I talked about a bit in the beginning. Like I said, it's a very iconic model. Actually, this design was created in 1931, so very, 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 very old, and it didn't move since then. It's still the same design, a bit of a Art Deco design. And this watch was created, like I said, it's a sport watch. It's not like a classic watch, if you want, or a cocktail watch. It's not like most of the people now use it as a dress watch, but actually at the beginning it was a sport watch, and it was a watch invented for polo. Because a lot of polo players in the past, you know, like on a horse with the mallet and everything, they were eating their watch and breaking the glass, or even more, breaking the watch when they were eating with the mallet. So they asked some people to create some watches, and actually Mr. LeCoultre had an idea to create this watch that can switch, and you see like reverse, and what's the name, Reverso, can reverse a watch. And basically you will have the backside of the watch on the front, the metal part, and basically when they were playing polo, they were just switching the watch over like this with the metal part on the front, and the watch was protected. If they were hitting the metal, obviously, it was like a lot better than hitting like a crystal and breaking everything. So that's why they invented this watch in the first place. So actually, like I said, it's a sport watch for polo at the beginning, and not a dress watch. And actually, for many, many years, like during a long time, around the Second World War, it was not really famous, and kind of rectangular watches were a bit out of fashion. And until the 70s, an Italian, like I was selling, Jaeger LeCoultre, he decided to buy the entire stock of the Reverso from Jaeger, and he made it a bit fashionable in a Italian jet set, to have this watch again in fashion. And it picked up again since the 70s, and actually never stopped since. Like the Jaeger LeCoultre now is very famous, and they made many different models of the Jaeger LeCoultre, obviously, like this one, like with a dial, with a sample dial in the front and the metal. And actually a lot of people do engraving on a metal. You can engrave your initial, you can engrave a date, you can engrave like some people engrave like a portrait of people, you can engrave like a lot of nice things. And Jaeger actually, after created a lot of complication, like obviously you will have a watch with 2 dials on both sides, you will have the GMT, you will have now a chronograph with this watch. So they did a lot of variant, but at the beginning it was just a watch like this one, very simple with steel back, just to protect the dial, just to switch it over when they were playing polo. And that's a very funky design and a very innovative creation for a problem actually in sport. And now, yeah, we know the success of the Reverso and all the different model, but yeah, at the beginning just created actually is a sport watch, which is now obviously a long time gone, but most of the people don't use it to play polo. But yeah, it's a very nice history and a nice model. Okay, so now we're just reassembling the watch, greasing everything, oiling everything. So we assemble most of the parts on the balance side. Now we move to the dial side, where we're gonna reassemble the keyless work, putting some heavy grease there on all these parts that you see a lot of friction and tension between them. There we go, just putting the winding stem there. Gonna put the yoke. First, I'm putting the setting lever there, just screwing back from the other side. And now I'm putting the yoke after lubricating all the pivot point. And you see the spring there, actually it's a bar. Again, I guess to save some space, it's like much better just to have a spring as a bar rather than a spring that come back, you know, like with a 180 degree angle if you want. So yeah, that probably saves some space. And when you see the size of the movement, like space probably was a big concern for the watchmaker that created this movement. Okay, put the minute wheel. And putting the setting lever spring on the top there. And just arming the spring here. There we go. Just a drop of grease and we should see if the setting lever, the yoke, is working. Like, yeah, we see the yoke moving there. And the entire parts are moving. Perfect. Just put the balance in place with this balance cock there on top, or bridge in this case, and with this big screw, which is actually not big. It looks big, but it's not big. It's just like because this movement again is so small. Just putting a bit of a wind in the movement. We see if the pallet fork is clicking. We will oil the pallet fork stone as well off camera because it's quite tricky to film. And now I can put the balance and see if the movement will start. And here we go. It started just, wow, it's running quite good actually. Like you can see it's beating quite strongly. Like, so we see at the end the result on a time grapher, but looks good. Just gonna oil all the pivot point for the train of wheel. So I use 2 different oil there, 1 medium viscosity and 1 low viscosity oil. Just do the same thing on the other side, on the dial side. And I can put the hour wheel. Can put back the dial. Actually, I did not do anything on the dial. Pretty clean, so I did not need to do much. On this beautiful dial, I love like the brush finish on it, and actually in 2 different directions, which give 2 different color in function of how the light is reflecting. Just placing this beautiful blue hand there, using my Rotec just to press the hand in place. Just align our hand on midnight, and we do the same with the minute hand there. Just gonna press it in place, but first it be perfectly aligned to midnight. There we go. Just going to press it very gently on the movement, Just checking the alignment there, 6 and 12, yeah, that looks good. Just check again at 9 o'clock, see if the alignment is good, yeah, perfect. Okay, so now it's just a matter of putting it back together in this case, but again, this case is not that simple to reassemble. We saw it like when we disassemble it, it's quite tricky. It's quite complex compared to a standard case on a watch, a round case. So we're gonna put there first the spacer, put it in his first part of the case, can reintroduce the winding stem there if he wants. Gonna put new seals. There is one at the front, one at the back. Just gonna grease them there in Molykote just to make sure again they get a better water resistant with this treatment on it. Okay, gonna place it there on this side. You see that's the side where you have the crystal. Gonna put that on the front of the movement, and you see you have 4 holes there. That's where you screw it back from the other side of the movement just to make sure both parts are kept together, and again to put some tension as well on the seals edge to make sure it's watertight. Again, even if it's a sport watch, it's not a diving watch, like, so it's not made to go to like 200 meters or 300 meters, but yeah, obviously it's watertight, so if you wash your hand, take a shower, it will be safe, but again, it's not a diving watch. That's the second seal there that I put before closing the case. Just put the system as well with the ball and the kind of parts that will go in a groove just to make the case slide. And now I can put it back in the other case back of the movement. Go just insert this part there. It's fully in position, and now we can put both parts on the side, and these parts I will keep it and create this groove just to have the case sliding, but without coming out of the movement, or the case in this case. Just placing these 2 screws, which is not easy because you have to screw them as an angle here. First one, put a second one there, and we'll have to do the same on the other side. And I'm putting this bracelet, which is very easy because he has a quick release spring bar there, which is a Jaeger LeCoultre bracelet with ostrich leather. And I just want to tell you that I have my website. You will find a link down below in the description. So if you want to go over there and have a look, I'm selling some of the watch. This is some of the watch that I'm selling that has been restored on the channel for most of them. So if you want to buy one of my watch, you're more than welcome. And as well, if you want to send me your watch for service, you will find all the information there on the website. So go there. You have the contact detail as well. If you want any question on the website, just go on the contact detail. I'll be more happy to answer. And this is the result on a time grapher. You see the amplitude is really high, above 300 degrees. The beat error is almost perfect, close to 0. And the watch actually is losing few seconds a day. I can adjust it to just gain it, maybe gain more seconds rather than losing. That's very easy to adjust, but very happy with the result with a very nice amplitude. And here is the final result on the bench. I hope you like this restoration, and I see you next time for my next video. Bye bye.